Now on to other stories. Claims of racial and sexual abuse at Parktown Boys High have prompted a visit by the Department of Education to the school. Gauteng Provincial MEC Panyaza Lesufi says there is no place for racism in schools. The department has launched measures to protect learners from abuse by educators. AfroWorldView reporter Nhlanhla Jele filed this report for us.
Gauteng Education MEC Panyaza Lesufi visited Parktown Boys High School in Johannesburg to give a report back following allegations of racial and sexual abuse. The report conducted by the department implicated 6 educators in the alleged abuse. Following the release of the report, 1 educator has since resigned and 4 are facing disciplinary hearings. Lesufi has strongly condemned the abuse of learners, saying learners should not be afraid to report any kind of wrongdoing.
And there must be no one that believes there's a particular race that is important at the expense of any other particular race. These are our learners, these are our people that are going to lead this country together. Because this country belongs to all these learners. There's no one that has a super claim to this particular country. The future belongs to these children. And anyone that believes the future belongs to a certain section of this particular population, that particular person is wrong, and will confront that person head on.
In the course of protecting public education, the MEC has encouraged learners to work at being future leaders of the country.
I want these learners to be engineers of the future. I want these learners to be pilots of the future. I want these learners to be lawyers of the future, doctors of the future. I don't want these learners to be reminded that the color of their skin is wrong. If you do that, you're not doing it on our behalf, and we'll confront you head on, and we'll be merciless in dealing with you.
Moreover, Lesufi has instructed that a new principal be appointed as soon as possible.
It's a contested terrain, and that is why I've given firm instructions that by the 1st of June, we must have the principal in this particular school. The old SGB, the new SGB, parents and other things. It's prestige, this thing, more than any other thing. So there are some people that believe that the principal must either continue with the old culture or the principal must embrace the new ethos that we are pushing off in an unracial society.
After months of investigations following several accusations at this school, Gauteng MEC Panyaza Lesufi has instructed that a new code of conduct be drafted and put in place, this to safeguard the rights of learners. Nhlanhla Jele, AfroWorldView, Parktown, Johannesburg.
Now joining us in the studio on this matter is Gauteng Education MEC spokesperson Steve Mabona, and on the phone line we're joined by Andre Guam, South African Human Rights Commissioner responsible for rights to education. Gentlemen, welcome to the both of you. Perhaps to start with you, Mr. Mabona. I mean, this story of Parktown Boys is quite disturbing. What did the MEC establish today on his visit?
Look, you will understand that this debacle started a few weeks ago, where we received, complaints from parents on the subsequent victimization or secondary victimization of learners who might have been violated by the then, polo coach.
Yes.
Well, that one is a criminal matter that is continuing in the courts. So allegations were that the other educators were then abusing or violating learners, like throwing racial slur. There were some allegations of nasty things that were happening in the hostels. But because of the, this culture of silence, which is not written anywhere in the school code of conduct, but it's a practice that has been there for many years. So the MEC saw it deemed fit to go to the learners and say to them, look, we understand that there's this culture that you adhere to, which is not written anywhere, that you must be silent if there's anything that is happening, to you. So we then said, look, the code of conduct must be reviewed. In that, we're trying to make sure that we allay fears of learners. They will know that if the code of conduct says when they complain, at the principal's office, this is how their complaint will be managed. Because now the code of conduct is quite silent on that one. So we feel that if we review the code of conduct, which parents they need to, take responsibility of, because the code of conduct belongs to the SGB, and the SGB represent parents. So we need their engagement to say, let's review the code of conduct so that learners are aware that even if they complain, they will not be victimized, because what we've established is that during the investigation, it was quite difficult or cumbersome actually to have evidence that might assist you, because some of the learners, because they didn't complain, it's only parents who complained. When you interact with the learners, they will say, we are actually not sure of what you are talking about, or we are not aware of all those allegations because of this culture of silence that they've been practicing.
You emphasize that this is a culture. Some at home could easily say, good and well, the MEC constantly responds to issues around schooling. But here some could say this is cosmetic in the sense that you have empowered these young boys, but they must still exist within the conditions. What has been the conversation with the teachers themselves, the perpetrators?
Look, the conversation was with everyone actually in the schooling environment. To say the school community must understand that we cannot continue to have allegations of ill treatment. Educators must know when they're at school, they need to focus on curriculum and make sure that they improve performance of our learners. Hence, we are saying learners are now empowered in the event of any violation that will be happening, be it sexual, be it assault, be it a racial slur. They will be in a position to can report that, and that will be managed in a better way than before. And we are saying, educators, we will take action against them, those that they are found wanting, because out of the 4 teachers that are mentioned in the clip, the 2, we will be facilitating the process to remove them from the school, because we appoint them. The other 2, they are appointed by the SGB, but we will also put pressure on them to make sure that at least they are removed from the school, so that when they go through the disciplinary process, they're not going to be, in the school and probably contaminate any process of discipline, or, learners will be seeing them around and all that. So we've agreed that before the end of this week, those teachers will not be at school, and the disciplinary process will then unfold, in due course. And the appointment of the new principal, like as the MEC has already indicated, the process is much ahead. And on the 1st of June, the new principal will be there at the school, orientated, and you will make sure that he understands on where the school comes from and how we're going to be managing the school. But the emphasis was for the SGB to take charge of the school, because we understand that there's a foundation which is responsible to manage the hostel, and at the hostel there's a bar. Now there's a liquor license that is granted to that bar, and we are saying we can't tolerate a situation where we have alcohol freely.
I also understand there were parties in the hostels, but before we get to that, perhaps let's rope in the Human Rights Commission's Andre. Andre, your take as a commission here on some of these reports around Parktown Boys.
Yes, we are very concerned about various issues from sexual harassment and abuse to initiation practices, racism and other forms of discrimination, as well as the victimization of learners who report abuse that has occurred at the school. Incidents of this nature constitute an absolute erosion of fundamental rights, including the right to education, the right to security of the person, the right to bodily integrity and dignity, and the rights of the child to be protected from maltreatment, abuse, and degradation. So we are satisfied, however, that the Department of Basic Education in Gauteng has indeed intervened adequately as far as these matters are concerned. Disciplinary charges have been laid against teachers. The NPA is also investigating some of these matters. And the South African Human Rights Commission has also received complaints. And we have been working with the school on some of the systemic issues of racism and so on. And as far as the school is concerned, we also understand that in the meantime they have now developed an app for the lodging of complaints anonymously by learners. So I think that is a step forward. But I think also what the MEC has done to go to the school today needs to be applauded. And the message that he conveyed there he said that there should be a new code of conduct at the school, and that the code of silence, as he called it, must no longer exist. Learners must be encouraged to report and have the right to complain about abuses of any nature. And we want to echo that and call on all learners across the country to when there are instances of abuse of whatever nature taking place, it's their right to complain about that, because it is a direct violation of many of their fundamental rights in the Bill of Rights. We have actually also called on the National Minister to make sure, together with the Provincial Departments of Education, that all the codes of conduct of schools are indeed reviewed to make sure that these codes of conduct are in line with the Bill of Rights. And it is also a good opportunity, I think, to really call on all the Gauteng schools to also make sure that their codes of conduct are indeed brought in line with the Bill of Rights.
Perhaps to bring it then to you, Mr. Mabona, in terms of the process, you went on your fact-finding mission. There's a criminal element to this. Is there something, are you working with the NPA, and as much as the Human Rights Commissioner is saying there that in fact the NPA has confirmed such, what process are you following? Because there's the two that were hired by the department. You're saying you're going to withdraw from the school, and then what process beyond that?
Now look, we are talking parallel processes, because as a department we need to follow the process of your labor laws, make sure that we discipline all the teachers that have misconducted themselves, and like hence we are saying, those that are appointed by the SGB, we will be working very closely to make sure that those as well, they are taken to task and given an opportunity. Hence when we encourage them to do that, one has already actually resigned, who was accused of some of the rant that he threw to a learner. So it's a parallel process. We don't need to mix issues here. The criminal matter is that of a polo coach that is appearing in court.
Yes.
That one of your sexual assault allegations. Here we're talking racism, we're talking ill treatment or victimization thereof. Hence we are saying those that are implicated, they are going to be disciplined because we are finalizing the charges. Hence we are saying we are precautionary going to suspend them from the school, meaning that they will be removed from the school and they will be given an opportunity to respond to all the charges that will be conferred, against them. So they will be given that opportunity. As you know, that we need to follow our labor laws and make sure that we don't, violate anyone's rights, be it educators, even learners as well. So hence we are saying parents are encouraged now to work with us, work with the SGB, but then also make sure that we don't continue to tarnish the image of the school. I mean, that school is doing very well, when you look at the curriculum, and we are saying we don't need to tarnish the image of the school further by, each and every time there's an incident, we then go into the public space and interact on some of the things that we might have, resolved as the SGB and the parents.
But some could beg to differ there, Mr. Mabona. Some could differ in that respect to say that you need to go public to show some sort of transparency, that you are also just as shocked. And if there are parents that are not aware, because this then becomes a moment to learn. That it's happening at Parktown Boys, perhaps it could be happening to my own child. I need to now go home and have a conversation and say, this is what we've discovered in the media space that is happening at Parktown Boys. No. Is there something you'd like to tell me about your school?
No, what we are saying, if there's an allegation and the school management is informed about that, and you need to give them an opportunity to do their work, that is to investigate or interact with the department. I mean, the district is there, the department is there before the media. So we can't be each and every issue that happens at the school, then we run to the media. How are we going to manage our schools? We can't manage our schools in that fashion. Hence we are saying the parents have a responsibility to make sure that the school is managed, because SGB represent parents. So the SGB, they are there responsible for the management of the school and the code of conduct, because all the code of conducts, parents participate and make sure that they craft those code of conducts. Hence we are saying SGB must work with us, facilitate a process where we're going to review the code of conduct and make sure that we don't experience any ill treatment or violation of learner rights because the code of conduct is silent on how the complaints must be managed, because the code of conduct is silent. So we are saying, let in the code of conduct be steps on when you lodge a complaint, how is it going to be managed up until finality, so that those that are told that there's a culture of silence, and they will not, that will cease to happen. Because we are saying, during the investigation, we have realized that some of the learners could not come forward because probably, afraid of being ridiculed, all those things. So we are saying, if the code of conduct is there, now empowering them, then probably we should be better.
Mm-hmm. And then you state that the sexual assault case only relates to the polo teacher. But in this instance, we also found out of the smearing. These remain allegations, of course, but smearing of deep heat on private parts. Did you establish anything there?
Look, that allegation did not hold water because of that culture of silence, because it was not tested to an extent that we did not have evidence on whether that did happen, or, well, information coming from the learners, gave you an indication that that did not happen. So, but then you can't say no because parents says it did happen. Let's then, chastise all those teachers and say it did happen. So that's the challenge that we faced during the investigation. Hence, we are saying we had to go to school and say, learners, we are here for you. Make sure that you report, and we're going to make sure that we protect you. And any teacher that is ill-treating you will be, treated, in that fashion that we're going to charge and make sure that people are disciplined in that fashion. So hence we are saying it was important for us to go to school and interact with the learners. And even if after opening up to say, is there anything that you want to say? Still, even today, they could not say anything. But at least we are convinced that after this engagement, they will be empowered to know that the department is here, the department is closely watching the school and is monitoring. Because hence we said, we need to allay fears of parents to say, we are closely monitoring the school. And the appointment of the new principal, actually, that's another, a deal breaker for us to say, look, principal, here is the school, work with us, here is the background. Probably it's someone neutral who come from, another school, will be working with him very closely to say, let's make sure that we work together with the SGB. Because since we are saying the SGB must be in charge of the school, because most of the management responsibilities, the SGB is empowered by the Act to make sure that they manage the school, or they assist the school management team to manage the school.
Mm-hmm. Then in terms of counseling, have you offered counseling to the students or even their parents?
That has been on a continuous basis. I mean, our team has been there since the incident of a polo coach, transpired. And we're on a continuous basis. We are supporting the families. And our interaction actually with the parents, we extended that as well. And those that want to utilize it, they can still then continue to utilize that service because it's freely available.
Mm-hmm. Andre, what's your take on Mr. Mabona's position that perhaps it's counterproductive to constantly run to the media every time there are problems in the school, and the emphasis of there being a culture of silence and not necessarily a culture of abuse?
Yes, I think that obviously this is a matter of public interest. Education is important to all of us. There's a right to education in terms of our constitution. So when instances of this nature happens, it would sometimes, be in the media, and I think we also need to respect the right of media freedom and so on to tell these kinds of stories to the public to ensure that some of these matters are also curbed. But let me just come back and say that this culture of silence, I suppose it is not only confined to this particular school. And I think it's very important to say again to everyone out there that it is wrong to have a culture of silence in a school. These matters need to be reported. Schools have an absolute obligation to ensure a safe school environment. Educators, security guards, other staff members have a responsibility to protect children in terms of our Constitution. And they are in a position of power, and therefore there should be a relationship of trust. And unfortunately, we have seen, and I must say that the Department of Basic Education is also in collaboration with the Human Rights Commission, busy to finalize its draft protocol on the management and reporting of sexual abuse in schools. We are working very closely with the department in that regard, so it is receiving attention. But I think that gender-based violence is endemic in South African schools and society more broadly, and a lack of uniform reporting practices or no reporting at all makes it very difficult to understand how widespread the problem is, and therefore these need to be addressed. And there are also not adequate protection mechanisms in place to prevent these instances from occurring. All persons employed at schools, including educators, sports coaches, cooks, garden staff, etc., has to be vetted against the National Sexual Offenders Register, the Child Protection Register, and the South African Council of Educators Register. This is law, but in practice this vetting is not taking place, and we need to absolutely make sure that teachers are adequately vetted, especially then to prevent these sexual abuses from taking place. I think another matter that is quite important is that we are working very closely with the Department of Basic Education to infuse human rights into the school curriculum as such as well, into the life orientation curriculum. We've seen a presentation the other day in the working group which I chair that is working on this matter, and it's basically about writing new textbooks with human rights elements to it for all our grades from grade 4 up to grade 12. And then also the teachers who receive teacher training at the universities will also become one of their modules to make sure that they understand how to teach this new curriculum, which will infuse human rights. And I think that will also assist in making sure that learners would understand and know that they have the right to report when their rights are abused. And I think that might assist in changing this whole problematic institutional culture of some of our schools. And I also think that it is a very positive development that this school has now developed an app, according to my understanding, for the lodging of complaints anonymously, which will definitely assist us in putting a stop to this culture and code of silence that the MEC was speaking about today.
No, certainly. Andre, thank you very much. And Mr. Mabona, thank you as well to the both of you for joining us. More news and updates on the other side of this break. Do stay with us.